SEO This Week, episode number 55. We're going to take a look at the various places you can put a link on your website and how that might affect your SEO. Pinterest's new ad features, featured snippets, how to get them, and a great post about technical SEO that's good for newbies and experts alike. Finally, we're going to roll it up with the Google My Business feature you might want to take advantage of now rather than later, because you know how Google is. Give you a hook on something, then turn it into an ad. All this and more on an episode 55 of SEO This Week. All right, everyone. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get started. The first page or post we're going to go to is Whiteboard Friday. It's the how links in headers, footers, content, and navigation can impact SEO. And he goes over, just basically the different positions from it and, which ones matter more than others. Now, he concurs with us in our testing that we've seen is that content links are probably the more valuable of them. Then navigation and footer, maybe in the sidebar as well. Kind of in that order is really how we look at it. That said, I've had experience where I've seen or talked to experts that are doing enterprise level SEO, big Supermondo sites, and they've ranked pages just using footer links, where it has ran discounts them. So you're really gonna kind of have to test this out yourself and see how it does. But the crux of this article is that let's say you have a navigational link and it's to a money page, and then you have a link inside of your content. The anchor text value will not pass, in his theory, to the linked page. So your money page, let's say you have products page, and inside of your content, it's Blue Widgets products. That anchor text value of that second link will pass because the first link is in the navigation. Now, I can say for a fact that we've built some pretty big sites, and it wasn't until we started putting in content, internal links into it, that the target pages started ranking. So if it's in the navigation, then how come it give the ranking boost if they're only counting that one link? So is it they're counting the power of the link and not the anchor text value, or are they just counting the first link and the rest of them don't matter? That's something that's really interesting. I think it's something that should be tested. We're looking into ways to pull it off. I don't think we're going to be able to do it in WordPress, but we're probably going to make HTML pages with a navigational header, with the menu area in content and all that stuff, and see how that works. Some other stuff that we like about this is the more you use a link on your site is the more weight that page has. The most visible links may get more weight. I don't really know about that, but I think if you have it in your content and it's visible, highly visible, and it's seen all the time, then that's probably might do it. Or in which case, he might also be talking about visibility, as in this is the one that's getting the most traffic, that kind of stuff. So if that page is getting the most traffic, and this is often increasingly linked to, then that link will count more, that kind of thing. And then on pages with multiple links to the same URL, only the first link's anchor as it appears in HTML may count. That's a little tricky because you're talking about anchor text, and people use anchor text for SEO targeting. And what they're saying is that only the anchor counts. Well, how do you judge that? How do you say that only this one anchor counts? And if a page has multiple links to the same URL, I guess it'd be really hard to, honestly, it'd just be really hard to say, hey, that's really what's going to happen. It could be because, Moz tool, or maybe Anchor or Majestics and Ahrefs, or even Search Console might only report that first anchor. That's where they came up with the solution. When does anchor text from the multiple links count, or do you get more power and juice having multiple links? Is 3 links on the same page equal to 3 pages from the same website? That kind of thing. It's all really confusing in the way that this is presented. I'm probably sure I just made it even worse for you. But that's why we're going to test it. We want to see, what works. If I'm linking to the same URL multiple times on a page, I would think that it's going to pass the same power whether if I link a whole bunch of times or one time. That's how I think about it. And then the anchor text, honestly, I would do, if I'm going to link to a specific page, it's going to be anchor the target keyword and then maybe some LSIs, but I'm really only trying to rank for the target keyword. So how do I know that it was the target keyword anchor that was counted and not the LSIs if my ranking went up for the LSI terms and the target keyword at the same time? So I think it's a little hard. It's going to be a little hard to prove that or even disprove what he's saying. But it's interesting, and it makes for an exciting test. He continues on some other stuff that you may have external link impact, in contact versus footers and navigation. Opening a new tab doesn't matter for SEO. Text links, images link beat out a image link. So if you have a text link in your content, it's better than having an image link with an alt attribute, according to the testing. But I like to do both, so don't discount one over the other because it's more powerful. The image links actually work pretty well, especially since the Google image search is getting a lot better. Multiple links on the same page, only the first anchor counts. We already went over that one. And if the link is in or on all of the pages, they're saying that you could get a penalty from it because it has the same anchor. So in that theory, if I have page speed optimization on Digitaleer.com, it's in the menu. Because it's in the menu, it's by default on every page of my website. Because I count it as page speed optimization service, which is what I'm trying to rank for by the definition, if I have, then I am open to penalties. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think that navigation in the anchors is kind of like expected. You can game it, or you used to be able to game it, but I think that those are handled differently than in content links. I really do, and I think that they don't pass the power that the in content link would, and I don't think that they override the in content link because it's the first link that Google finds. That's my theory. That's my hypothesis, and my hypothesis is now I just got to test the stupid thing and figure that out. So we'll see how that goes. The next post is from Marketing Land. Is Pinterest open search ads to self-serve advertisers and adds auto-targeting option. This is really good if if you get a lot of traffic from Pinterest. We typically did for our infographics or other people's infographics when we were highlighting them on the website. So it might be something for you to look out for. But really, if you're like into fashion and that kind of stuff, or even have e-commerce and you're getting some decent traffic and conversions out of Pinterest, this might be something to look at. And you just drop another ad block into the system there. You get good traffic, and it's good buyer traffic. So if your market is there, I would go ahead and try that out. Maybe it's probably a lot cheaper than AdWords or Facebook anyway. So next is Search Engine Journal, 7 useful image optimization tips for your e-commerce store. I think these are probably good for pretty much everyone. What I liked about here is they gave some tips on what to do with your designs and some places or some design ideas that might actually work for you for your e-commerce. Like if you have pictures of your clothing, jewelry, furniture, all that stuff, and gadgets, then go for it. But if you're like a service-based business and you do charge graphs, infographics, and all that stuff, you can actually leverage image search as well. Some things that I wanted to go ahead and try out because, why not? Then it's adding text to your images because Google can read the text on the images. Now it does that image processing. They're good at it. And then earn links by producing images for content producers. I don't know how that one would work. I guess maybe if someone has did an article and then you want to turn that article that they've done into a infographic for them and post it and then let them know that you did it, you might get some backlinks off of that. So that would be an interesting thing. It's pretty much the same around the rest of it. Technical, do the image file name, the image URL, the image alt tag, and compress the images just to make everything a little bit faster. So I think it's a pretty decent article. Again, the biggest takeaway for me, though, is just the image editing and using that text recognition inside of the images as a leverage point. Next is Search Engine Journal is a complete list of different types of featured snippets. This is pretty cool. So basically what it does is, defines what a rich answer is and a knowledge graph is versus a featured snippet. And then it goes into how to get them. I think this is really valuable information to know. Every SEO will pretty much want to get these because basically what it boils down to is Google is taking people's content off of their websites, putting it on Google, not paying them for the content. They're curating it. And then keeping the search result or the search user on the search engine, and putting you, if you're lucky enough to get it, in the forefront as the subject matter expert on that topic. So I would go out and try to get these. You're going to get some extra traffic from them for sure. It's not going to be a ton of traffic and much more different than the organic. Honestly, probably 1 in 10 of these feature snippets I end up clicking on. But, it's something to go ahead and do. And it just you can do it by putting up your content using bullet lists, tables, and lists, and regular lists to get into that. It carries over into another one is a SEMrush. And they did an article on how to win the featured snippet or in how to figure it out where they are. So you put your keywords in, and then you can use SEMrush to tell you where those featured snippets are in your search terms, which is really good if you're doing a content marketing program. Go after the featured snippets. Why not? It's a little added extra exposure. It's not going to take you much different or much more work than before, and I think you should try it out. So again, that's the next article, and that's from SEMrush, and that is how to win SERP features with SEMrush. Good tool. You should use it. It's one of the very few that I pay for. Next article is from SEMrush as well as 5 hidden Google Analytics reporting features you should be using. I'm not going to dig into this too much, but the crust is there's some tools inside of it, that drop down menus and such to help you sort the data and just make it make more sense. If you're a business owner, this would be really helpful for you and kind of get the most out of analytics. And if you're doing reporting, this you kind of bedazzle your clients with some things that they can see out of what Google Analytics will give them. The biggest one for me was the Click Cloud. Basically, it's a term cloud. If you're thinking them from a WordPress thing, like tag clouds, these are term clouds, and to help you out in your targeting and secondary dimensions, you can just get crazy with those things. So I would check this post out. Just play with Google Analytics a little bit more. As I said in the written post, I got a master's in business intelligence, and I'm Google Analytics certified, and I'm still learning this tool. So I would encourage you to read this post. Next is how to approach the right target group for successful content outreach. Here is what I want to say about this one is the title is a little bit off. It's not successful content outreach from an SEO perspective. It's outreaching to the buyer and writing content in order to address that. So transactional, this is e-commerce content. Branding is, showing off you, what that kind of stuff. And then social content is really what that is the little blurbs or images or whatever you want to share on social networks. And then you can kind of go along further into that, and you do social content that's emotional, branding content that is appeals with the mass, or buying that goes with pop culture because you're selling something that's really, if you're selling fidget spinners, for example, it's a pop culture thing. You can mix that up. And this explains the customer journey and how to take them through your content in that way. There's some different ways of looking at this article and the processes that we're doing it. So I would just take it for blank value and just use it as for some ideas, particularly if you're kind of stuck in a writing program. Because everyone knows that if you're writing for the same blog over and over and over and over again, almost every day or even every week, and get a little bit tedious. So this is a good opportunity for you to just kind of refresh and get the old brain juices flowing again. Next is Search Engine Land is 19 technical SEO facts for beginners. This is really good if you are a beginner or an expert and you just kind of need a refresher. Robots text files are case sensitive. Sometimes you miss that. Google doesn't care how you structure your sitemap as long as it's within the goals of what the requirements are. You can check your crawl budget in search analytics. That's really cool. You want to find out where how they're going to your site, where they're getting stuck, that kind of stuff. You want to get them to do that as much as possible and to make it as effective as possible, because when it's effective, they come back more and more and more. So that's something every one of us kind of needs to know and remember. Disallowing pages with no SEO value will improve your crawl budget. So if you block the robots from going to your terms of service and your privacy policy and that kind of stuff, that's good. You can also, directive stop ranking from Google if you want to stop it for whatever reason. I don't know why you would do that. And you can control the search boxes, and there's a couple other things in here. Again, it's a great reminder post, especially if you've been doing this for a while. We all kind of get complacent in our knowledge, so just come back in here and kind of smack yourself around a little bit. Next is Google My Business pages can now take direct booking. So what this is a feature where a customer can book the time online. So they gave a restaurant or a barbershop as an example. I can book an appointment to get my haircut at a certain time. But if you're a plumber, you can set it up to do that. Or if you're, you're a consultant, you can do that as well. Right now, it supports this list of booking tools: Appointly, Booktable, Booksy I've kind of heard of before. Appointly I have not. And there's a bunch of others. I think if we probably looked in deep enough, Google owns at least half of these, so that would be my guess. But right now you can hook them up and set up that booking button. It goes to the instructions on how to do it. So, again, if you are taking appoints, or setting up consultation call, for example, kind of stuff, this might be something really cool to leverage. To make it easier, they don't have time to make a phone call, so I'll come back later. But when they come back later, they see someone else, and now we lost that possibility of a lead. Wherein if they have book online, they sign on, they click the button, they book it up online, and then they know, hey, tomorrow I'm going to talk to that SEO agency. So we're going to try to leverage it, or highly recommend you do. We'll let you know how that works out for us. And then finally, we're going to end up on Siege Media is when and why links don't work. This is really a post about the power of on-page optimization. So you want to make sure that you read this really well. I am speaking on at SEO Rockstars in November in Vegas, and I'd like to invite you, but this kind of peels off into what we're talking about, or I'm talking about there, is how to optimize your pages for Panda perspective, for duplicate content, make it really good content. And if you don't do the on-page stuff right, the link building is harder, and then two, it's less effective. So we wanted to make sure you address that, and this guy does a really good job of that. And then these 3 tips are actually pretty good. Links are seen as a tactic, not as a strategy. So you have to have a link building strategy versus a tactic. I'm just going to link and try to make it work kind of thing. Internal linking is not done. We see that all the time, and you aren't generating bottom funnel links. Basically, you're not generating links to your money pages enough. So, it's great to get homepage links, but if that's not your money page, then you're going to have some problems with your ranking and stuff. So you're not going to see the value out of it. So I would, go ahead and start thinking about linking to the internal pages. We're just calling them internal pages, but they're at the bottom of your funnel. These are the ones that are making your sales for you as well. So check it out. It is in video and transcript format, so I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to come back to this one a couple times and might actually see some of the stuff here on my presentation as I kind of dig a little bit deeper into it and how to gauge this stuff some more. All right, that's it. This has been episode 55 of SEO This Week. I'd like to thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.